All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're opening the file on what's gotta be one of the most captivating and, frankly, highly suspicious cold cases in human history. We are going back over 2,000 years to look at the sudden demise of Egypt's last pharaoh, Cleopatra. Now, we all think we know the story, right? The tragic defeated queen, the venomous snake. But when you actually lay out the source material and really scrutinize the facts of the scene, that traditional narrative, it starts to look incredibly fragile. This isn't just your standard ancient history lesson. It's literally a centuries-old murder mystery, and we are going to follow the evidence. 39. Picture this. It's the year 30 BC, and Cleopatra, undeniably one of the most powerful, brilliant, and politically savvy women to have ever lived, is found dead in her palace in Alexandria. Now, she wasn't at the end of a long, naturally fading life. She was at the absolute peak of her intelligence and capability, only 39 years old. When someone of that massive geopolitical importance just turns up dead in their prime, that immediately throws up a massive red flag. We have to ask ourselves, who is actually controlling the narrative of what happened in that room? Which brings us to Section 1, the official Roman story, or as I like to think of it, Rome's police report. So let's walk through the exact sequence of events as Rome sold them to the world. Step 1. The year is 30 BC, and Cleopatra's forces have just lost a massive, decisive war against her great rival, Octavian. You know, the guy who'd go on to become the Emperor Augustus? Step 2. In the immediate aftermath, a defeated Cleopatra reportedly locks herself away inside her royal chamber. And then, Step 3. That final, legendary moment. According to Rome, she purposefully lets a highly venomous Egyptian cobra bite her on the arm, allowing her to die peacefully while wearing her magnificent golden dress. And there you have it, the neat, tidy story issued by the victors of the war. But let's look at Section 2, anomalies at the scene. What doesn't add up? Because when you actually treat this like a real, rigorous investigation, that official police report practically falls apart in your hands. Rome firmly claims death by an Egyptian cobra bite, but the physical evidence from the scene, it tells a totally different story. First off, there was literally no snake found in the chamber. None. And second, there were absolutely no bite marks found on Cleopatra's body. The absolute kicker here is that even the Roman historians of the time, the exact same people trying to push this official narrative, had to admit in their own records that nobody actually saw a snake. Think about that for a second. The central piece of the official story is completely missing from the physical evidence. And guys, the crime scene gets even stranger. So we've established no one saw the snake and there are no bite marks. But now consider the two maids who were present in the chamber with the queen. These two maids died at the exact same time as Cleopatra. However, the evidence shows they died in entirely different ways from each other. If a single snake was smuggled into that room, how do three women die simultaneously, but in completely different manners? The logistics of one cobra executing three people at once in different ways, it completely defies logic. It highly, highly suggests a cover-up. So let's explore Section 3, the Poison Master, Cleopatra's lethal laboratory. If it wasn't a snake, what was it? Well, modern experts point straight to the queen's own deeply guarded skill set. See, Cleopatra wasn't just a political ruler. She was essentially a lethal scientist. She was a true master of poisons. She actually maintained a private laboratory, keeping her work highly classified. She didn't just dabble either. She dedicated years of intense study to perfecting complex, deadly chemical mixtures. She understood chemistry, toxicity, and human anatomy on a level that very few people in the ancient world could even comprehend. And what's truly chilling is how far she went to perfect her craft. The source material tells us she actively tested hundreds of different deadly combinations on live prisoners. Why? Because she was methodically searching for the most painless, efficient way to die. She was a brilliant strategist, always looking ahead to the very real possibility of her own defeat. And she wanted a fail-safe. So many experts today believe that if she did take her own life, there is no way she used a messy, unpredictable wild animal like a cobra. She would have used a precise, painless, untraceable chemical cocktail of her own brilliant design. But we also need to consider Section 4, motive for assassination, Octavian's problem. What if she didn't take her own life at all? The political reality of the time was incredibly stark. A living Cleopatra was vastly too dangerous for Rome, even as a captive. She was charismatic, she was brilliant, and she held massive, massive influence. For Octavian, a man trying to consolidate absolute power and become the undisputed ruler of the world, leaving her alive was just an enormous risk. I mean, she could rally a rebellion. She could turn his own generals against him. So some experts argue Octavian simply bypassed this risk entirely by secretly ordering her silent assassination. By having her murdered and then inventing this highly romantic story of the snakebite, Octavian completely eliminated his greatest rival while making it look like a tragic suicide. It perfectly saved his own public image. This leaves us at Section 5, an unsolved cold case. 2,000 years of mystery. After more than 2 millennia, the complete truth remains buried. We always have to remember that official history is often just the propaganda written by the winning side. Octavian won, so Rome got to tell the story of the cobra and the golden dress. But when you look at the missing evidence, the bizarre deaths of her maids, her own secret laboratory, and the massive political motives of her enemies, what do you think really happened in that chamber in Alexandria? Did the last queen of Egypt die by her own hand, using her own brilliant science like a true warrior? Or was she silently assassinated by the man who wanted to rule the world? I'm going to let you be the jury on this one. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the narrative.